Hello and welcome to the Nintendo News Network. Well, it's about time I made a Pokemon-centered video, it being one of my favorite franchises, spanning all the way back to Pokemon Red and Blue. That being said, you would think I would be absolutely in love with Pokemon Go. And, well, if you've seen some of my posts on Facebook and I think Twitter in the past, well, I'm not always the nicest, truth be told. It is not that I think it's bad per se, I just think it could be a lot better, not living up to its potential. That, and after a year and a half, there are some things the game should be doing, or even not be doing anymore. So here are the top 10 things Pokemon Go needs to change, add, or remove. Before I jump into number 10, I want to take a moment to give a shout out to the Pokemon Go Columbus, Ohio Facebook group. I reached out to them for some input and ideas and they provided them in spades. I thank you, and if you're in that area, make sure to join their Facebook page for the best way to stay connected to the Pokemon Go community. Number 10. Trading Pokemon. This was the basic idea that got Pokemon created. It came from bug collecting and trading them between friends. It is a core part of Pokemon to this very day, hence why there has always been two versions of the main series games. Now many might think that trading is not really needed at this point, but I would have to disagree. There have been quite a few event Pokemon now, and even legendary Pokemon that might be worth trading. You got 4 Entei and no Raikou? Well, I got 4 Raikou and no Entei. Let's trade. Plus, as I said, it is at the core of Pokemon, and I think it should be a harmless addition. It might not be critical, which makes it perfect for the number 10 slot. Number 9. Speed up the evolution animation. My god, if I have to watch another Pidgey evolve into Pidgeotto, I might snap. Evolution just takes too long. I think a middle ground is twofold. First, speed it up a bit. Second, I suggest that after you see a particular Pokemon evolve once, let's use Bulbasaur as an example, then the next time you go to evolve Bulbasaur, you see a skip button, allowing you to skip the animation altogether. But when you go to evolve your Natu for the first time, you do need to watch it. It's a small thing that would go a long way to improving the overall experience of Pokemon Go, in my opinion. Number 8. Slow down introducing new Pokemon. This one might get a bit of a backlash from some people, but it's something I think needs to happen. I know plenty of people who are always itching for the next batch to be released so you can go catch them all. But it seems like Generation 3, which is one of the largest generations in all current 7 generations of Pokemon to be released, is nearly complete, and we're only in March of 2018. Gen 3 has been out for around 3 or 4 months at this point, not counting the Ghost being released in the Halloween in 2017. At this rate, we will be entering Gen 5 by the end of 2018. And if the trend continues, the game is done by 2019. No new Pokemon. Yes, there will always be more Pokemon eventually, and then there's the hunting for the shiny Pokemon, but that will only keep people for so long. Use shiny Pokemon now to make the generation last longer. More event Pokemon beyond a Pikachu with a hat. I want my Totodile with a hat, damn it. Again, this one might not be a popular choice, but one I think needs addressed. Number 7. Friends List, or some sort of social platform to connect with friends in the game. Although many have found ways around this one, like Facebook groups and using Discord, I still think something in-game is needed. You request a friend and then they have to accept it. So a two-pronged process to know who you are adding and who is adding you. I know some people are worried about creeps friending little kids, and I say to that, most mobile games have something like this. Also, watch what your kids are doing, parents. It could help coordinate raids a little bit better. You could see, hey look, Beth What's-Her-Name is online. I bet she's at the park. Again, much like trading, I think it would be a simple add-on that would improve the overall experience. Number 6. Player vs. player battling. Another core part of the Pokemon series, battling another live player would be pretty cool. But we are in a time where revives are somewhat of a rare commodity, so they need to do a few things with it. First, the Pokemon you choose to battle with will go back to the HP they were at after the battle. That way you don't use potions and revives. But it is also not an instant auto heal or auto revive, and people don't create 2 accounts on 2 phones or devices to do that. Second, we need a reason to battle each other, be it an ability to win items, or perks like the next 10 minutes you have a better catch rate, or even Pokecoins. Some sort of incentive to battle our friends for fun, and not a waste of time. Number 5. Item distribution. This was touched upon on 6 a bit with how rare revives have become, something I was very much unaware of. I don't battle gyms much, and as such I have a stockpile of like 80 revives in my inventory. but this seems like an issue nowadays. When I do play, it seems all I get is raspberries and Pokeballs, no potions or anything else. But it seems like it could be tweaked a bit, at the least, to make it not so harsh. On the topic of items, there needs to be something when you toss items, in particular the evolution items that were introduced with Generation 2. I don't play constantly, and I still have a bunch of each, just sitting there taking up inventory space, but I'm still paranoid to just toss them for nothing. If you got even a Pokecoin for every 5th evolution item, it'd be a lot better. Number 4, the ability to change teams. Okay, I'm a proud Mystic player, and I started day 1, so when I hit level 5 and was given the choice of what team, I just chose blue because it's my favorite color, and no other reason. I had no clue what the teams would mean, and I don't think anyone else did at the time. So many friends ended up on different teams from each other, starting a holy war that would last 100 years. Okay, not that dramatic, but still, I think Niantic should give people the ability to change teams, but only like once a year or every 6 months or so. People shouldn't be able to jump to Valor just because the raid where Groudon has been a Valor gem for a bit so they get the perks. That's not fair. But a chance to let friends align themselves would be nice, since many of us had no idea what choosing the team actually meant. On that note of teams, because I don't really think this justifies its own number, let's get some story going with the team leaders. Give them some more mascots beyond the legendary trio from the first generation. It doesn't have to be complex, but you gave them different personalities, so let's use them. Number 3, too many Pokemon. So we are nearing the end of Generation 3. That will be 386 Pokemon. Take away the legendaries that will only appear in raids, and you have 365. Then there's some special ones, so that's about 360-ish Pokemon that could appear. And with each generation and wave, the past Pokemon don't seem to pop up as much. So unless you have been playing non-stop from the beginning, you might find it rather difficult to get enough Houndour to get a Houndoom. And let's not even think about the rarer Pokemon like Lickitung and Larvitar. It just seems overwhelming to actually catch them all, and with each generation adding more and more Pokemon, this is a problem that will only escalate. Way back before Generation 2, I threw out a random idea to some friends where when you log in, you just chose a Generation 1 server or a Generation 2 server. So only Pokemon in the Johto Dex would appear in the Generation 2 server and so forth. And if you wanted to hunt Tauros down, you would just stay in server 1. But, let's say you wanted some Scizor, you can go in Generation 2 or 1 to hunt Scyther since he appears in both. Now, I'm no real expert or have any knowledge of how servers would work in this capacity, and I can only fathom that there are a lot of flaws with this plan. But it's just an example. But I bring it up because this is something that Niantic can't ignore, and something that needs to be tweaked before it gets even worse. Number 2, region-exclusive Pokemon. I'm not traveling to Australia for Pokemon. Look, I get the novelty of doing this. It's like the version exclusives from the main game. There's a few flaws with it though. First, see my number 10. You can trade in the main games. Second, I am not traveling to Europe for a Pokemon. I have seen and heard people say they need a rotation, and yeah, that could work, but I think I have a better idea. Timed exclusives. Let's say Generation 4 hits. They make Bronzor exclusive to North America and Drifloon exclusive to Europe. Well, then after a month, they are no longer exclusive to those regions and populate the world. This still makes them a little special for a bit, but the fact that some of the Gen 1 Pokemon are still elusive to many people, unless you travel the world, is really not okay. Oh, and one more thing. I am not traveling to Florida for a Pokemon. Although I will travel to Florida for Super Nintendo World. I do have my priorities. And the number 1 change, add, or remove for Pokemon Go is changing raids. And this includes the EX raid system. This was what I saw the most issues with when I reached out to the Facebook group and beyond. Let's begin with regular raids. One of the biggest issues is waiting for the raid to start. If you are soloing or even just a group of friends, 2 minutes can feel like forever just standing there. After a minute, a button should show up that says ready, and if everyone in the waiting room hits it, the raid begins. It seems the most fair way to do that. Sometimes you need the 2 minutes, but most of the time you don't. Also for raid bosses, wouldn't like an SOS signal be cool? So on the screen, let's say I'm a few streets away from a raid, but then a player hits SOS and the raid sends out a message to players in the area that someone needs help. Maybe even keep that just to people on your friends list that I suggested before for safety reasons. I also think they need to start cycling the old legendaries. If you miss them out, it seems like you're just out of luck at this point. And now, let's tackle EX raids. They are crap. I understand you want to make Mewtwo and others like him special, but man oh man, it seems like a mess at times. I've seen people with 6 Mewtwo's, and I've seen people who play every day just now get their first Mewtwo. Just make them rarer to pop up on regular raids. Or after, say, 10 successful level 5 raid catches, you get an EX pass that can actually start an EX raid. Or turn a level 5 egg into an EX egg. As is, it just doesn't seem to work out well. And I've seen too many people panicking about it for the process to stay as is. Well, that took a little bit longer than I thought. I hope you enjoyed this top 10 list, but I want to know what you think. What would you change, add, or remove from Pokemon Go? Tell us in the comments below. If you like this, please consider subscribing and liking to us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go try to be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my... I'm a bad singer. I'm sorry. I'm stopping now.